happens 90 degrees. So if I poke this right here, where would it dip? It would dip right here at the top. Well, guess what? Remember we said that when I poked this at that very instant in time, which direction was it moving? Straight ahead, right? Well, isn't the resultant centrifugal force parallel right there? That's why. When I poked that, it was moving in that direction. Well, where is that direction actually happening on the disk? At 90 degrees to the plane of rotation. Okay. So, when we do this, I'm going to spin it again, okay? And you can see that gravity actually does. I'm getting 1 g of force that's causing some gyroscopic precession. So I'm going to spin it in this direction, okay? I'm going to put it on my finger, so I'm sorry, from your guys' view, I'm going to put it on my finger. It's going to be spinning in this direction. Gravity wants to pull it where? Down. So if it wants to pull it down, where's the resultant force going to be? Spinning this direction. So you can look at it either way. I'm pushing here, which will make it go here. Or you can look at it as from the top, I'm pushing the top forward, which is going to push this side out. So when I spin this, it's going to spin right, going around my finger. Ready? If I can get it to spin. Hey, look at that. Gyroscopic precession. Okay? Any questions? Sterling got it for me at the Clark Planetarium. They're pretty cool. I just like having them not do the string and look like an idiot.
Strings are cool.
What's that?
Strings are cool.
Strings are cool, you can get it going faster, but then I look like an idiot because I'm like, hold on. And I pull it and it comes off. Okay, so gyroscopic precession does have an effect, okay? We're going to look at this real quick. In an attitude indicator, when is my worst precession noted? After a 180 degree turn, I'm going to have a
climb and turn in the opposite direction.
climb and then a turn, 5 degree turn in the opposite direction. Okay? So let's look at why. What I'm going to do, I'm going to spin this for you guys, and I'm going to turn towards you and see exactly what happens. We're going to do 2 different scenarios. So the first one, I'm going to have my back to you, I'm going to do a 180 turn. Okay, you ready? It's level, 180. What's it doing?
Precess.
Okay, I had that precess as I came around. Okay, now watch. I'm going to do a complete 360. What happened?
It fixed itself.
It fixed itself. Because I precessed through an entire 360 degree range, it canceled itself out. So, the worst is at 180. But what was it doing over here?
It's still precess.
It's still precessed. I had probably about a 2 or 3 degree bank. Back here I had a full 5. Over here, back to about 2 or 3. Back here it was back to 0. Okay? So that's why you're going to have that. It does depend on how fast the gyro is spinning. If you have a very, very stable gyro, it's not going to be as bad. Whereas if you have one that's spinning slower, then obviously you're going to get more precession. Questions?
Where's the force being exerted to make it turn like that?
Make it turn.
To make it recess like that? Because it's the 90 degrees opposite in the direction of rotation. How's it? In my mind, I'm not quite. I see how it's turning, but where's the force being exerted?
Okay, as you go around in a circle, I'm not going to go into this. I don't have a complete answer for that unless we sat here and played with it for another hour. But in an airplane, what you're looking at is, I went into a bank, ready? Where's my downward force in the airplane?
Size. Oh, okay.
Down, right? Right through the floor of the aircraft. Well, I've got some centrifugal force now that's going to want to pull that and cause some precession to start occurring. As I spin in a circle, I've got the same thing. I've got some centrifugal force that wants to pull it out as I go through a circle.
Okay.
So, there's probably more than that, but the only reason I know this is because I had a student who questioned everything, and we literally had to sit in a chair and spin around until we figured out why it did that. I'm not really that, like, desperate for knowledge or whatever. I figured almost all of this out because I had students that were like, why? I don't know, let's find out. So, any more questions? Josh, go. How does a gyroscope sit in a heading indicator?
Vertical.
So an attitude indicator sits like this. Heading indicator sits like this. Which one processes more, an attitude or a heading? A heading. Okay. And if you think about it, it's very easy to see why. When I'm like this, I'm basically aligned with gravity, right? When I'm like this, I've got all sorts of forces that can now turn that and take it out of its context, if you will. Whereas an attitude indicator always has that 1G to help it come back to normal. You notice that even after the 180, if I let it sit for a minute, it came back to normal because it's still got that constant gravitational force. So that's why on those, and the heading indicators in the katanas don't work because they're just old. So that's a whole different story.
10 degrees in like 2 minutes.
Yeah. Try doing instrument training and those. It was horrible. When they switched us over to the Diamond Stars, I was like, yes! Thank goodness. Any questions? Man. Making it easy.
Is time up or?
Time's up, I guess.
I have a question.
Let's go.
On the attitude indicator, when I was reading here, it talked about how the veins or something inside of it would sometimes help get it back. And I didn't quite understand how those veins work.
Pendulous veins.
And stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't exactly understand them either. So I don't have an answer for that one.
Okay.
But they work.
When do we start flying, or did you say we can kind of start lighting up sometimes?
Yes, if we want to get groups together, then I can start putting that together. So if you have somebody, the 4 of you that are just taking the class, obviously you guys aren't going to start flying because you guys are still working on your CFI. So that's not a problem. If you guys want to leave, you can. Everybody else, we need to pair up and get that going.
I'm ready to start flying now.